Rules are meant to be followed, Ethan, Margaret said, her tone dripping with condescension. I don't make the guidelines, I just enforce them. And since you apparently missed every notice, I had no choice but to take action. The hedges are now in compliance. Consider this your final warning. Imagine this. You've spent time and money cultivating a beautiful hedge that not only enhances your home's curb appeal, but also provides a sense of privacy and security. Then out of the blue, you receive a notice from your HOA demanding that you remove it. Homeowners associations, or HOAs, can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they help maintain property values and community standards, but on the other, they can sometimes overstep their boundaries, leading to conflicts that can leave homeowners feeling frustrated and powerless. One common area of contention is the issue of personal property rights, particularly when it comes to landscaping choices like hedges. Ethan clenched his fists, his voice low but seething. You mean your final act of overreach? Because I guarantee this isn't over. Margaret gave him a thin, patronizing smile. Take it up with the board then. But until then, the rules stand. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, the peace was shattered by an incident that would soon be known as the HOA Margaret incident. It all began when a homeowner, Ethan, decided to plant a row of lush hedges along his property line. These hedges not only added beauty to his yard, but also provided a much-needed barrier for privacy from the street and neighboring homes. However, Ethan's well-intentioned landscaping choice caught the attention of the local HOA, particularly one outspoken member who we'll refer to as Margaret. Margaret, known for her strict adherence to community rules, took it upon herself to report Ethan's hedges to the HOA board. She claimed that the hedges were too tall and violated the community's landscaping regulations, which stipulated that no plant could exceed a certain height. But instead of waiting for a resolution, Margaret took matters into her own hands. One crisp April morning, Ethan was sipping coffee on his deck when the shrill buzz of hedge trimmers pierced the air. He looked over and nearly dropped his mug. There was Margaret, standing on his property, hacking away at the arborvitae hedges like she owned the place. "What the heck are you doing?" Ethan demanded, trying to keep his voice steady. Margaret turned, flashing a smile as cold as ice. "Good morning, Ethan," she said, her tone dripping with condescension. "I'm bringing these hedges into compliance. They're 10 inches over the regulation height per Section 14, Paragraph 3 of our guidelines. I sent you 4 notices." "I haven't seen a single one," Ethan replied, stunned. "Even if I missed something, that doesn't give you the right to trespass and destroy my property." Margaret sighed, as if talking to a misbehaving child. "As HOA president, I have the authority to correct violations after proper notification. The bylaws are clear. Hedges can't be taller than 5 feet. Rules are rules, Ethan." The HOA, eager to maintain its standards, later sent Ethan a formal notice demanding the immediate removal of his beloved hedges. The emotional impact of this decision was profound. For Ethan, those hedges represented more than just greenery. They were a shield that offered his family a sense of security and privacy. Losing them felt like losing a part of his home. The thought of being exposed to passers-by and neighbors was distressing, and he found himself grappling with feelings of frustration and helplessness. He clenched his fists, struggling to stay calm. "Stop cutting my hedges now. We can talk this out like adults." Margaret's fake smile vanished. "I've already documented the violation with photos. The board voted last week to take action. This is happening, like it or not." Ethan, seeing that reasoning wouldn't stop her, pulled out his phone and started recording. "You're trespassing and damaging my property. Leave now." Margaret's composure cracked. "You can't record me. That's illegal," she shrieked. "Actually, we're in a one-party consent state, and you're on my land without permission." Ethan replied coolly, "Leave, or I call the police." Margaret glared at him, then flung the trimmers onto the lawn. "Fine, but those hedges better be compliant in 7 days or you're facing a $600 fine." As she stormed off to her silver BMW, vanity plate, ruler gleaming in the sun, Ethan kept recording every step. As the situation escalated, Ethan discovered that the community rules were somewhat ambiguous, leaving room for interpretation. While the HOA had the authority to enforce regulations, many residents felt that Margaret's actions were excessive and intrusive. This incident sparked a broader conversation within the community about the balance between maintaining property standards and respecting individual rights. That afternoon, Ethan got to work. He dug through every document from when he bought the house. Section 14, paragraph 3 clearly stated that hedges could be up to 6 feet tall, not 5, as Margaret claimed. She had lied. He installed security cameras around the property to prevent future incidents and called his friend Sarah, a property law attorney. When she visited the next day, she shook her head at the hacked-up hedges. "This is textbook trespassing and property damage," Sarah said. "Even if your hedges were too tall, which they weren't, she had no right to touch them. That's not how HOAs work." Ethan asked what his options were. "Document everything," Sarah advised. "The damage, the hedge height, any witnesses. We'll send a cease and desist letter and demand compensation. And if you really want to push back, there's something else you can do." That something else was music to Ethan's ears. City ordinances, which trumped HOA rules, allowed residential fences up to 12 feet tall with a permit. The HOA tried to cap fences at 4 feet, but they couldn't override city law. After the emotional turmoil of losing his cherished hedges, Ethan found himself contemplating a new solution to reclaim his privacy: installing a taller privacy fence. The decision wasn't made lightly. He weighed the pros and cons carefully. One of the primary benefits of a privacy fence over hedges was its durability and permanence. Unlike plants that could be subject to disease or pests, a well-constructed fence would stand strong against the elements and provide a consistent barrier for years to come. Additionally, a fence could be designed to match his home's aesthetic, enhancing the overall look of his property while ensuring his family's privacy. Ethan decided on a wooden privacy fence, opting for cedar due to its natural resistance to decay and its beautiful grain. He envisioned a 12-foot-tall fence that would not only block the view from the street, but also create a cozy enclosed space for his family to enjoy. The design included horizontal slats for a modern touch, allowing for some airflow while still maintaining privacy. That Monday morning, Ethan filed for a permit. By Friday, it was approved. That weekend, he hired a top-notch contractor to build the fence. It was $8,000 well spent. The installation process was not without its challenges. First, Ethan had to navigate the HOA's regulations regarding fence height and design, ensuring that his plans complied with community standards. This involved submitting detailed drawings and waiting for approval, which added an extra layer of stress. Once he received the green light, the physical labor began. Digging post holes in his rocky yard proved to be more difficult than anticipated, and coordinating with contractors to ensure the fence was installed correctly required patience and persistence. Still, Ethan remained focused on his goal, and when Margaret drove by and saw the construction crew at work, her face twisted into a mask of pure rage. She marched up his driveway, clipboard in hand, practically vibrating with fury. "What do you think you're doing?" she bellowed. "Our rules state fences can't exceed 4 feet. This is outrageous." Ethan smiled, calm and prepared. He handed her a folder containing the city permit, the ordinance, and Sarah's cease and desist letter. "I'm within my rights, Margaret. City law trumps your guidelines. Oh, and here's an invoice for $6,000 to replace the hedges you destroyed." She flipped through the documents, her expression shifting from fury to disbelief. "This is absurd. The board will fine you daily until this monstrosity comes down," she hissed. "Go ahead and try," Ethan said. My lawyer says your fines won't hold up. And just so you know, my new cameras are recording this. Margaret glanced at the camera mounted above the door. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Finally, she sputtered, "This isn't over," and stormed off. Sure enough, the next day a violation notice arrived, demanding Ethan remove the fence or face $150 daily fines. He forwarded it to Sarah, who fired off a scathing letter to the HOA board, warning of a lawsuit if they tried to enforce their baseless fines. But this time, the HOA board didn't rally behind Margaret. A week later, Ethan received a surprising email. The board had reviewed the incident and suspended Margaret from her position pending an internal investigation. Several board members expressed regret over how the situation had been handled, acknowledging that Margaret had overstepped her authority and potentially exposed the HOA to legal liability. Margaret's silver BMW was noticeably absent from the next HOA meeting. Then, at a special meeting convened 3 weeks later, the HOA board held an official vote regarding Margaret's status. The result was decisive, 6-1 in favor of permanently removing her from her position as HOA president. The motion cited unauthorized enforcement actions, trespassing, and damage to private property. For the first time in years, Margaret's seat at the front of the meeting room sat empty. Once Ethan's new privacy fence was installed, the reactions from his neighbors and the HOA were mixed, sparking a lively discussion within the community. Many of Ethan's immediate neighbors expressed their support for his decision. They appreciated the aesthetic appeal of the new fence and recognized the importance of privacy in their own homes. Some even mentioned that they were considering similar installations, inspired by Ethan's proactive approach. They felt that a well-designed fence could enhance the neighborhood's overall look while providing a sense of security for families. However, not everyone was on board. A few residents, particularly those who had previously sided with the HOA during the hedge controversy, voiced concerns about the fence's height and its potential impact on the neighborhood's open feel. They worried that the fence might set a precedent for others to follow, leading to a more enclosed community atmosphere. This sparked debates at community gatherings, with some residents advocating for stricter guidelines on fencing to maintain a sense of openness. As for the HOA, their initial reaction was cautious. After receiving several inquiries from other homeowners about the fence, they decided to conduct a review of their fencing regulations. Ethan was called in for a meeting to discuss his installation, and while the HOA acknowledged that his fence complied with the rules, they expressed a desire to clarify future guidelines to prevent any misunderstandings. This interaction was tense but ultimately constructive, as it opened the door for dialogue about balancing community standards with personal property rights. The community's perspective on personal property rights began to shift as well. Many residents started to recognize the importance of individual choices in enhancing their living spaces. The discussions surrounding Ethan's fence highlighted a growing awareness of the need for a balance between community aesthetics and homeowners' rights to privacy and personal expression. This incident became a catalyst for change, encouraging residents to advocate for clearer regulations that respect both community values and individual freedoms. Reflecting on the entire experience, Ethan realized that the journey through the HOA conflicts and the installation of his privacy fence taught him invaluable lessons about personal property rights and community living. One of the most significant takeaways was the importance of standing up for his rights as a homeowner. Initially, he felt overwhelmed by the HOA's authority and the pressure to conform. However, by advocating for his needs and making informed decisions, he not only reclaimed his privacy, but also empowered himself and his neighbors to consider their own rights. Navigating HOA regulations can be daunting, but Ethan learned that understanding the rules is crucial. He discovered that being proactive, researching community guidelines, attending meetings, and communicating openly with HOA members can make a significant difference. By engaging with the HOA constructively, He was able to clarify his intentions and ensure that his fence complied with regulations. This experience highlighted the importance of fostering a collaborative relationship with the HOA rather than viewing them solely as enforcers of rules. Ethan's journey serves as a reminder for all homeowners to consider their own privacy needs. In today's world, where personal space is increasingly valued, it's essential to assess how your home environment meets those needs. Whether it's through landscaping, fencing, or other means, homeowners should feel empowered to create spaces that reflect their lifestyles and preferences. The reactions from neighbors in the HOA showcase the complexities of community living, where individual rights must be balanced with collective standards. Ultimately, Ethan's experience served as a powerful reminder of the need for clear communication and understanding of HOA regulations. The overarching takeaway is that homeowners should feel empowered to advocate for their privacy and personal space. It's crucial to engage with your HOA constructively and to be informed about your rights as a homeowner. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales of resilience and justice. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.